Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this new video I'm going to show you how to make point cloud from image in Touchdesigner. First thing that I do, I bring a movie file in from my top operator. After that I'm adding a fit. I put the fit menu on fill. And I'm adding a null. Now in my chop operator, I'm adding a constant. And I put the number of my channel 1 on 200. I'm going to use this number as my resolution. So I go to fit and I go to common and I'm just assigning this number to the resolution. So later if I want to change the resolution, I can just change this constant. Here I change my image. You can find all this image in your Touchdesigner folder. Here after my fit, I add a new branch and I add a noise. I just play around with the noise. This noise is something that we want to use for the position of our translate X in our point cloud which we later are creating. Now from my sub operator, I choose a grid. This grid is something that we are going to use it for our translate X and Y position. Here I assign the channel from my constant, which is my resolution, to rows and columns of my grid. I add a translate after my grid in case if I want to change something in future. And I add a null. I right click on the output of my null and I go to chop and I choose sub 2. And for the null that is my image, I also do the same, but I choose top 2. You can also just drag and drop your top null inside the top part here, or you can just write the name. After the top 2, I add a shuffle. In my top 2, I go to crop and I change the crop to full image, and in my shuffle, I go to method and I change it to sequence channels by name. I do the same for after my noise. As you can see here, I delete the alpha because we don't need the alpha channel, we just need the red, green and blue one. Do the same for this, crop on full image. And here after my noise, in my noise line, I add a select after the shuffle because I just want to use one of these channels for my, as I said, for my translate Z positions. And so here I choose red channel and I rename it to TZ. After my sub 2, I also add a select because I just also want to use 2 of these channels, which are TX and TY. And I bring a merge from chop and I merge all these chops and all these channels that I have. Now I go to sub, I click on empty space and I bring a sphere. I want to use this sphere for my points. If you are using a sphere, just consider to make the row and columns very low numbers. I add a transform, I reduce the uniform scale. The number that I put here is still very large, but later I'll change it. I add a node, and I right click on the end of my node and I add a geometry from comp. When you use 3D, you always need a camera. You can bring it from comp menu. And you always need lights. And from top menu, I bring a render. As you can see, already everything is connected to my render. I add, after my node, I add an output. And before my output, I add a RGB key to make a black background. Now here you can see if I press this blue button, I can turn on the display of this node in my background. I go to geometry and I turn on instancing from the instance menu. I drag and drop my merge into default instance operator. In the translate part, I choose the TX, TY and TZ in my translate XYZ. Now my points are very huge, so I go to translate after the sphere and I reduce the number more. I zoom back a bit in my camera. I go to translate C to zoom or zoom back. If you right click on any node that you have and you choose view, you will get a separate window from that node. Here now when I play around with my noise, that is my translate Z position. If you remember, I choose red channel for this position, but if you choose like other channels, then other colors will affect the movement. Now I go to my transform in noise and I write ABS time.seconds because I want to give like kind of a movement in depth in my noise. I multiply it in a smaller number because I want to make it slower. And when you write this line in any of your parameters, in each second it will add one number to the value of the number that you have. And if you like divide it or if you multiply it in a smaller number, then the number will increase slower. Now we go to instance 2 and in the color operator part, I choose RGB for RGB. Now here we have the image as our texture. I click on this star on right down corner of my camera to be able to change my camera angle. Here I also go to my render command and I change the resolution to square. What I want to do here is that I want to make the point cloud, the image from that we got our point cloud from it less obvious. I go to my nose and I play around with period, amplitude and offset. When I put offset on 0, then it's kind of like changing the pivots of the points. After my movie file in, I add 11. You can see that when I change the contrast and the brightness, my points are changing because the translate Z position of my points are receiving the data from my image. So when I change the brightness and contrast, the value of my colors is changing. So now you can see it here. After the level, I add the HSV adjust. Now this is something that I like to do also, to play with the hue offset. When you're working with color, I think this is one of the very nice notes that you can use. Now from my chop, I bring the LFO. After LFO, I add a mask. In the mask, if you go to the range, you can map your number. For example, my LFO is from 0 to 1, but I change the number to 50. I lower down the frequency number to make the movement a bit slower. Here I can change the range from 0 to 100 to have more colors. I just play around with the type. It really depends on the image that you are using, the color that you have, the channel color that you use, how you want to see the final result. So it's really up to you what do you want to change in your noise, or what other notes you are going to use before your position. Here I reset my camera. I was not really happy with the angle. And when you lose your 3D model in your camera view, what you can do is to click on the star and press F. And then your camera will be pointed at your 3D object. Here I play with light. I put my light type on cone light to have a kind of a spotlight somehow. And in the lights menu, you can change your phone angle or phone data, and you can do your lighting. I got a copy from my light and changed the angle of the new light. And also the color of my light. So this is our results so far. Now I will go and add a display after my HSP adjust. This display is affecting both my color and my position. I lower the number of displays width. I want to make it a bit more messy. I don't want the image to be very obvious. You can also play with UV rays. Here in SUP, I bring a box. I want to use a box instead of the sphere. Now I go to the transform after the box and I higher a number a bit. Now you can see the boxes are more visible. A good thing about the point cloud compared to maybe particle is that when you play with the size of your points, if you don't have a very powerful computer, then you can just increase the number and you can have a more intense particle . So here my interface is changing a bit because I use another laptop to record this part. So we need a material for our geometry. I go to matte operator, I choose a foam, and I just drag and drop this node on top of my geometry and I choose material. Here I make my color a bit lighter. And I go to ring. If you turn on the ring, you see that you get kind of a side light. Here I turn this on and I lower the strength number. Now from here we want to make this visual sound reactive. I go to chop and I choose an audio file in. Here I just drag and drop my audio and I want to choose this one. After my file in, I add an analyze. And I put a function on RMS power. After that, I'm adding a mask. Here in the combined channels, I choose average. And in the end, I add a null, and I call this null low because I want this line to be my low frequency. Now how we divide our sound into different frequencies. Here after analyze, I insert an operator, audio filter. In audio filter, it's on default it's on low pass. In the cutoff units, I choose frequency, and here I write 200 in my filter cutoff. Now I just drag and drop this channel inside my display's wave. When you want to assign this to two parameters, you can just drag and drop it on the name of the parameter that you want to. It's still very fast, so I go to my mask and I go to multi-add. I lower the multiplay number. Now here I'm adding the audio device out to hear the sound. Now you can assign this channel to any parameters that you want. Here I assign it to the frequency of the LFO that is changing my hue. In the following video I will teach you how to work with sound reactive visuals.